So he got hit with the ball. So we're now live. Finally, I'm sorry I had a slight technical difficulty for my podcast people, but we're on live. We're going live right now with you. So we're talking New York Yankee baseball. The Yankees doing very well. We're seeing what they can do and what some of the players they can pick up on and bring some of the players. The Yankee Aaron Judge with 40 home runs, only Barry Bonds and Luis Castillo with 41 home runs. Barry Bonds had 45 home runs. Those are only three people to be August 1st, by August 1st. So we're at least trying to make that happen. So we're trying to get it together and make it happen for this coming season with Major League Baseball. So the Yankees are doing very well. The Blue Jays are coming on strong. I think they need to do some trades for some pitchers. We'll get some pitchers going with us. Hopefully we'll have a trade going on there. The Boston Red Sox, they're really injuries. Injuries have really slowed down the Boston Red Sox. Hopefully the Red Sox will make some moves. They may trade some of their guys. They said they're not trading Bogaerts or Devers at the present time. We'll see by Tuesday if they decide to trade some of those high-end guys, because Chris Sale arm gave out on him again. They brought him. He just came back. He has another injury. A couple other of their pitchers are out. So the Boston Red Sox look like they're just not going to be that team in there. The Baltimore Orioles right now have come on with some of their pitching prospects, and they're playing a little bit better. As a matter of fact, they're ahead of the Boston Red Sox in the standings right now. So keep that in mind, that baseball is here. And remember, this baseball segment is brought to you by Rock Pawnbrokers, 559 State Street, for our online people listening as well as radio. 559 State Street, Rock Pawnbroker, and Challenger Community News, Western New York's and Rochester's largest weekly African-American newspaper. Check us out. We're in the top publications in the area. Rock Pawnbrokers, 559 State Street. Check out Sammy and the crew over there. We're working on it. Keep in mind with the Yankees, I see them going on to do well in the playoffs. I see the Yankees, Toronto getting in there. I see Cleveland and Minnesota both possibly getting in. And obviously, I see the Houston Astros out west getting in there in the American League, getting the playoffs. The Angels, keep an eye on the Angels. They're talking about Ohtani. They might trade Ohtani, which will be big news. Get him out of the LA, get him out of Anaheim. The Angels, they just can't put together a winning team. They need to get prospects to help them out, because Ohtani's a great player. Mike Trout, now his back is starting to give out on him. He's having back trouble. So we need to see what's going on with those guys. We get them out. Ohtani is in trouble, having trouble with his Ohtani's doing very well, but Mike Trout with the back problem seems to be a major concern right now for the Angels organization. So I don't think anyone's going to trade for Mike Trout right now, but Ohtani's the hot prospect. The guy's a superstar, won the league award last year, MVP award last year. He beat out my guy Vladimir Guerrero last season. So if they trade Ohtani, that means they're expecting to back up the U-Haul truck and get a truckload of prospects and a couple of veteran players, some guys that can play right now. So whoever makes that deal for Ohtani, you're giving up a lot, but you're going to get an outstanding pitcher and an outstanding hitter in Ohtani. Ohtani will make it happen. So let's keep an eye on the trade deadline. Go over to the National League. The New York Mets and the Atlanta Braves are the class of the Eastern Division. They're both fighting it out right now. I see the Braves maybe overtaking them towards the end, but DeGrom is ready. If DeGrom comes back and he's his old self again for the Mets, hey, the Mets can run the table with DeGrom and Max Scherzer. They can definitely run the table and be able to hold on, not only win the division, but also get into the World Series. They'll be tough. They'll be a tough beat to beat them going into the playoffs. Should be quite interesting to see how this transpires and how things continue to go with these teams in Major League Baseball, because you see that the Mets are playing very good ball right now. They seem to be coming on quite strong. The LA Dodgers. Let's talk about the Dodgers for a moment. The Dodgers, a lot of these Luis Castillo, a lot of these players who you're hearing on other teams, Ross Stribling with the Blue Jays, a lot of these guys came up through the Dodgers organization. The LA Dodgers has the best recruiting and the best farm system known to mankind. I don't care what sport you're talking about. The Dodgers are hands down. They have camps over in the Dominican Republic. They go after kids when they're 14, 16 years old. Yemi Garcia, a pitcher that's been around with the Marlins, started with the Dodgers. The Dodgers picked him up and signed him when he was 14, 16 years old, I believe it was. 16 years old back in 2009. This guy has been a very good pitcher throughout the years. So the Dodgers are able to recruit guys with their camps that they have overseas or over in South America per se, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic. They've been getting these kids when they're 14 to 16 years of age, watching them, signing them to contracts, bringing them along slowly. They come in, they do well for the Dodgers. Then next thing you know, the Dodgers have to move them because they've already have another guy coming up behind them that's just as good or in some case better than those guys. That's why you don't see the Dodgers, the LA Dodgers. They don't make a lot of trades. They don't tend to trade a lot of guys. They tend to go ahead and do what they have to do with the talent that they have. They did trade for Mookie Betts, and Mookie Betts is doing very well. I just see the Dodgers as a class act in the National League. I see the LA Dodgers being tough to beat. They're going to be a tough team to deal with as we go along into the season. It's going to be an interesting season. Second half of the season, we're done with the All-Star break, and now we're getting into the second half of this season and where we are with the ball teams as so far going on in the season. So we're looking at baseball. It's going to be a strong season. And remember, after 8:30, give a call. 585 is the area code, 595-1055. Real Deal Sports Show. We have some guests coming up. Looking forward to some guests coming on the show, and we'll be able to have them on and be able to keep the show rolling. But baseball is really coming back. It's a lot of good ball players. You're starting to see a lot of good black ball players being drafted too. African-American ball players are now coming back into Major League Baseball. Because at one time, and I'm reading the book, I just finished the book. That's a very good read. And the gentleman in the articles, I'll get the name in a moment for you. But in the book, he states that, hey, back then they were getting rid of Gary Sheffield. I'm reading the Gary Sheffield book right now called Inside Power. And he states in the book when Major League Baseball turned their back on the African-American players because they were paying too much for the African-American ball players. They felt they were playing too much, and they were able to get just as good or better ball players from the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. And that's when you saw the slowly decline of the African-American ball player being drafted and moving into the baseball. But now they're coming back with PAL. They come back with the Police Athletic League. They're coming back with a new program where they're bringing baseball back to the inner city, back into the black community, because they see they definitely need black ball players back in the game, because it's everybody's game. Obviously it's an international game. You have a lot of international ball players, but you're also going to see more black ball players coming back into the game of baseball. So we're looking forward to, as Gary Sheffield said, that was the downfall of us, because Gary Sheffield and a lot of black ball players were asking for a lot of money and were getting a lot of money at the time. But Major League Baseball saw that they could get cheaper guys, pay cheaper for the Dominican Republic and the Puerto Rican ball players, especially to fill in the void. And it was a business decision. It was a definitely business decision, and that's what it came down to. It was a straight up business decision. That's what happened with Major League Baseball, and you see that happening right now. You see that now with the draft picks. Kumar is coming in. You see a lot of young guys, young black ball players getting drafted, and you're going to see more getting an opportunity to play Major League Baseball, because that's the key thing right now, is getting back into the game, playing the game, not only playing the game, but getting the game into the community and getting the game back to the people, giving the game back to the people. That's what it comes down. That's what it comes down to. It comes down to getting the ball game back into the community, and that's what we're seeing with Major League Baseball. You're seeing guys playing good ball like Marcus Semien. Marcus Semien opened the game last night for the Texas Rangers with a inside the park home run even though it was a couple errors by the Angels outfield. I mean, the guy made 2 errors trying to field the ball in the outfield for the LA Angels last night. But Marcus Semien scored on an in the park home run. He's straight from Oakland, California, from the city of Oakland, California, born and raised, and he's been in the Major League Baseball for quite some time. I hated to see him lead the Toronto Blue Jays last year. I thought Oakland should have paid him. Oakland should have paid him to stay with the Oakland. He was born and raised in Oakland. Why wouldn't you keep a talent like Marcus Semien on your team? But instead, they let him go. Toronto picked him up. He had a great season with Toronto last year, put up phenomenal numbers. This season, he coming back. He was in a slump to start the first half of the season, but halfway through the first half, now he's in full gear. Marcus Semien is playing very good ball right now for the Texas Rangers. And the Angels, they just can't seem to beat anybody. They can't seem to get out of their own way with the turnovers, with the errors. I mean, there's plenty of errors. The errors they made last night was, man, it was almost like watching some of these 14, 13U teams playing baseball here in the area, here in the Rochester and around the area. Watching the young teams, the kids play. It was almost watching kids play. But unfortunately, these are grown men, and the Angels have got to make some changes. That's why I think they're gonna trade Ohtani, because they really need the filter. They need more than Ohtani. And the game of baseball is so big, you would help the game as well by getting him to a better team. If he could get on a better team and continue his successful pitching and the hitting that Ohtani has been at, hey, you can't beat it. I think you're going to look forward to seeing by Tuesday, the trade deadline. You're going to be able to see different guys traded, but that would be the biggest name to see him traded. Now that Luis Castillo, the pitcher, I'm just glad he didn't go to the Yankees. I think that would be interesting to see what would happen at that time. With Luis Castillo. So we're looking forward to seeing that and seeing how that progresses with the trade deadline for Major League Baseball. We'll see how that goes during the time period. But now we're going into the NFL. And our next segment, we're going into the NFL. We have a guest coming up shortly. I see they just let me know they're a little delayed this morning, guest number 1. But the guest will be showing up hopefully shortly. Remember, after 8:30, you can call in 595-1055, area code 585 for Real Deal Sports Show. In this next segment, talking about the Buffalo Bills and NFL football, is sponsored by Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency, Farmers Insurance Agency, Auto Home Health and Life Insurance, 1038 Lyle Avenue and 511 Bean Road, Suite B. Call 585-360-0094. 585-360-0094. Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency. So remember that. Give her a call. I guarantee you, she's helped me and my family save money. She'll help you and your family save some money as well. It's very good with Auto Home. If you're out there on a motorcycle or you're getting your kid going back to school, it's almost college time. The kids going back to college, they may need a jalopy or something to get them to and from the campus if they're not staying on campus. Hey, check out Miriam Rivera. She can also help with the auto insurance and get you a peace of mind that you're getting your loved one or your child a vehicle and you're getting it insured properly with the vehicle. With Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency, 585 area code 360-0094. Good. So check out Miriam Rivera. Sponsoring the next segment. The next segment is talking Buffalo Bills football. Hey, the Bills right now in training camp will be back out there again today. The Bills been training each day this week, except for Thursday. They were off Thursday. They're starting to come together. What I've seen out there is that the team is starting. You can see the continuity is starting to come slowly but surely. Right now, they're not wearing pads, so guys are out there. It's really like touch football in a sense, except for on the offensive and defensive lines. Those guys are hitting. You have a lot of hitting going. You have some nice, polite hitting, I would say. Not all out hitting, maybe 3/4 speed they're going right now. But what's impressed me right now, Gabriel Davis. seems to be right in season. He looked like he's picking up where he left off last season. From the last time I saw him was Kansas City when he caught those multiple touchdown passes in that game. He was unstoppable. He looks like the real deal. He looks like the top guy right now for the Buffalo Bills right now. He looks like the top receiver. Stefon Diggs is a guy with the accolades, well deserved, but I think Gabriel Davis has slowly but surely taken over the reins. He is the go-to guy. Stefon Diggs is a good player. Hey, I like Stefon Diggs. They have the good tight end is coming on as well. And I see we have Jay Gills. Jay Gills, good morning to you.
Good morning, Rochester, and good morning, Radman. How y'all doing this morning?
Hey, doing great, doing great. We're just talking training camp. I know you're going to be out there this morning at training camp as well, checking out the action. And I was just telling our listener and audience that Gabriel Davis looked like he picked up where he left off last season. I mean, he made a catch in the back of the end zone yesterday in the 2-minute drill. That man, he just used his muscle, boom, and outstretched his arms. He's big. He's big. He reminds me more of an Eric Moulds. For you Buffalo fans that remember Doug Flutie and Eric Moulds' era in Buffalo, he's a physical receiver. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but he can get downfield and he creates space for himself. And he's going to be something teams are going to have to deal with this year. I think Kansas City found out just how tough he was in that playoff game. And I still say to this day, I told the Mighty Oba in Tampa when we were sitting in the press box watching Buffalo at Tampa last season, I said, you know what? The Bills need to go to Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis is open on every play. Why is he trying to go to Stefon Diggs when they rolling the coverage? They were rolling the coverage to Diggs, and he still was. Josh was still throwing it on that fourth down play. Instead of him throwing into double coverage to Stefon Diggs, if he would have went to the one-on-one with Gabriel Davis, I think Gabriel Davis could have came up with the play, could have made the play, and the Bills could have won that game in Tampa. And you remember Buffalo was down 24-0 at halftime in that contest and came back and took it to overtime. It wouldn't even needed overtime. The Bills could have won that game. But I think Josh Allen is learning more because I noticed already he's going to Gabe Davis a lot more in training camp. Your thoughts, Jay Grills?
Oh, yeah, that game's been playing on NFL Network Top Games replay, so I've been catching that one a lot, that overtime game against the Bucs. But I'll say Gabriel Davis is that physical threat that you guys needed. You haven't really had that physicality. You have been more of a finesse team if you look at Josh Allen airing the ball out. But what I'm more concerned about is with the emergence of Gabriel Davis, what does this mean for Stefon Diggs? We know he did just get paid, but he's looking for that bag. DK Metcalf just got paid. Tyreek Hill just got paid. No, the guys are looking to get paid. And what does this mean for Stefon Diggs moving forward? Now, if you look at the contract of Josh Allen, a couple years ago when he signed it, we all looked at it. We all got a little nervous. But now we see as these other quarterback contracts are coming up, that was a bit of a steal. So you got to give kudos to Brandon your man Brandon Beane, because when you look at the Deshaun Watson, $231 million guaranteed. When you look at Kyler Murray, $207 million. So they do have the money, but are they going to use it on Stefon Diggs now that Gabriel Davis is looking like the guy?
I don't think so. If I'm Brandon Beane, I'll let it go. He'll play this season out. We'll see how it goes. But if going into next season, when Josh Allen contract escalates and he gets paid more next year, his new contract actually starts next season. Mm-hmm. He's on his 5th-year contract right now. Player option, which he's playing roughly around $24 million, but it goes up to almost $52 million, I believe, somewhere in the 40s or 50s next season. That's when I take a hard look, and I would not be surprised. I would let Stefon Diggs go, because you got a lot of young receivers. That Shaquille, he's looking pretty good. I would, because Stefon Diggs is a great. Don't get me wrong, but somebody has to go, and the Bills are now getting a lot of young receivers too. You got some Jamison Crowder is looking good in the slot position. You have
Marquez Stevenson can develop.
Yeah, he can develop. You got a lot of guys on the roster that right now is looking really good. These guys are the Bills are loaded. You not only have and you got a guy for 1 or 2 years. I would say Tavon Austin. He's out there. He could be doing something for the next 1 or 2 seasons with the Bills. But when you look at the wide receivers, and then you add in a guy like Khalil Shakir, the rookie. Then you got Jake Kumaro, who still can play. Isaiah McKenzie. You got Jamison Crowder. I mentioned him as well. And then you look at a guy like Isaiah Hodgkins. I think Isaiah Hodgkins, who was drafted a couple of seasons ago, he's on the hot seat. I think Isaiah is going to have to come through and play some ball this season. I think he's going to have to come in and play some ball to make the team, because he may not make the team, because there's a lot of receivers that the Bills have. The tight end position is looking solid. You got OJ Howard in there along with of course Dawson Knox. And Dawson Knox is looking really. It looks like he's picking up where he left off last season.
And then you got talking about those tight ends, Jalen Weidemeyer out of Texas A&M. Don't sleep on Jalen Weidemeyer. I mean, I was hoping that he was going to get drafted, but I thought he was going to be at least a first or second round pick. The dude's 6'6", 250. He's the physical beast. So you put him behind Knox and then OJ Howard, the Bills tight end position is looking locked and loaded.
Yeah, and you're right about him. I've been watching him the last couple of days. I'm going to check him out today a little more. I'm glad you spoke on him. He's another talented guy. So you're getting a lot of good draft picks, a lot of undrafted free agent guys coming in who are talented that can fit this team. And that's why I'm saying I think this could be the last season for Stefon Diggs with the Buffalo Bills due to the high salary, number one, and number two, the quality of backup guys that you have that are slowly moving into the starting role. Because you figure even OJ Howard is young. If he doesn't have the injuries that he's had throughout his career, he could play 2 or 3 years with the Bills. He could be here a couple of years. And Weidemeyer, as you mentioned, he definitely can be a guy. He could definitely be a player that can come on and make some plays as well with the Buffalo Bills. And coming up next, Jay Grills, we're going to have another guest come in. Stay with us right now. And we're going to bring in Carl Jones from TV8, WROC TV8. Welcome to Real Deal Sports Show. How you doing this morning, Carl?
I'm good. How about you?
Great. Doing great. I just want to get your opinion. You've been out at the camp almost every day as myself. What are some of the highlights that you've been seeing so far with the Buffalo Bills training camp?
I'm seeing a back and forth between the offense and defense. You're seeing days where the offense is doing their thing and looking explosive, and then other days where the defense is doing what they're supposed to do, going against an O-line that's kind of a couple men down, not just one or two, doing their job in that regard and competing on the back end. So just so far, and when they had the pajamas on, no shoulder pads, they're going back and forth. But today they put those puppies on and real football begins.
Exactly. Now you're going to see the men from the boys starting today. Who likes to hit? Who's going to get hit? It should be very exciting to see some of these, especially the younger guys. And that's what me and Jay Gills. I was just discussing with Jay Gills before you came on, Carl. That hey, after this season, I could easily see Stefon Diggs, the Bills letting him go. Due number one to the high contract, and number two to just the amount of wide receiver talent the Bills have accumulated in the last season or two, that they could actually move on. Gabe Davis could become the guy, which I think he already has. I thought last season, that Tampa Bay game, if he would have went to him a little more in that Tampa Bay game, I think the Bills could have pulled that game out because he helped bring them back in that game. And unfortunately, he went to Stefon Diggs on that fourth down play where they rolled the coverage and over towards Stefon Diggs and had him double teamed in the end zone on that final play. Before the overtime, before that game went into overtime. Your thoughts on that?
I think Gabe Davis has high expectations for a reason. I mean, the last time we saw him play, he put up literally Madden-type numbers, right? But there's a huge jump between being the 3 and 4 guy and then going from number 2 and then beyond that, number 1. I mean, you just got to think about the amount of resources that the defense spends into you. You know, how much time are they, rolling into coverages, checking your tendencies, whether that be at the line of scrimmage, your releases down the field. There's just a whole different type of mindset that defensive coordinators and players alike have on you once you're into that role. So I'm interested to see how he handles that role because not everyone is built for that. I mean, by all accounts, this offseason, he's worked his tail off to be prepared for that position. But it remains to be seen, and I think we need to temper expectations for him in that regard because not everyone's built for that spot. And if he doesn't live up to the expectations, I don't want people to be shocked if it doesn't happen because there's been players before who, given more, they haven't taken it.
Absolutely. And the only reason why I'm so high on Gabe Davis is that I saw him play at University of Central Florida in that undefeated season. And if it wasn't for their quarterback getting injured in that late in the season, I thought they could have played for the national championship. Their team was just that good that season. Everything would seem to be rolling their way. and Gabriel Davis was one of the key. He made some big plays in those games those close games, especially that Auburn game. I mean, he made some tough catches back then, and I was just shocked that he lasted to the 4th round. I was surprised that I had him going in the 2nd round in that particular draft. But hey, Brandon Beane seems to be out from the 4th through 7. I got to give it to Brandon Beane. I've always been on him about the 1st and 2nd round draft picks, but 4th through 7, he seems to wake up and finds these diamonds in the rough. The Dane Jackson on defense, starting cornerback now. I mean, that guy was almost a 6th, I believe, a 7th round draft pick. And you got another guy that he grew up with out of Pittsburgh area, played at the University of Pitt as well, came out of the 7th round. He's still on the team. The kid from Villanova this year, Benford. What do you think? What do you think of how, Brandon Beane seems to be, it may seem like he can't miss between 4 through 7.
Well, I mean, that's how you got to extend, the shelf life of teams and continue to keep the ball rolling is those 4 through 7 rounds. I mean, you got to think of Matt Milano a few years back and how he's become a huge success in that realm of picks. And I guess you can criticize a little bit of the first couple days, but I mean, I definitely think the pedigree stands out 4 through 7, and be interesting to see some of the guys from this year's draft where they stacked up. Obviously, Khalil Shakir is the one that everyone has their attention on, but there's a couple other guys that maybe if things break right, they'll also have an impact this season.
Definitely, because that Benford, I've been impressed watching just how he maneuvers and how he positions himself so far, and that's the young man out of Villanova. So the Bills have they really do. Even on the defensive back, the secondary, you have a lot of talent on the field. So it's going to be interesting how this shapes out throughout the season. And definitely appreciate you coming on, Carl, because I know you have a busy morning. But can you tell the listener audience about yourself? Because you're a new face on TV here in Rochester to some. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio. And before that, after that, I was blessed to be able to play football up at Syracuse. And after my time there was done, I was blessed that here at WROC, Channel 8, they took a chance on me, a kid fresh out of college. And here I am as a sports anchor and reporter and just living the dream, trying to be like y'all one day.
All right. You're doing your thing. You well on your way, Carl. You keep up the good work. And also, how can people follow you for people that may want to follow you on Twitter and so forth on social media?
On Twitter, I am Jones11_, and then on Instagram, cjones11_.
Beautiful. You hear that, listener audience out there? And also, remember, you can catch us on YouTube, Facebook, Real Deal Sports page as well, and on Twitter. You can follow, you check the show out, and you can catch up with Carl Jones as well. And check him out on sports on TV8. Weekends and weekdays. Look like you're on at all different times now. You're not only weekends anymore now. You're moving right on up the ladder.
Trying to.
Hey, we appreciate you for coming on Real Deal Sports Show. And hey, you have a great day and see you out at training camp later today.
You have a good one. Thank you, guys.
All right. Take care. All right, guys. That was Carl Jones from TV8. Jay Gills, he was a defensive back at the university at Syracuse University. Went to school, Newhouse School of Communications, and now he's well on his way with a broadcasting career, Jay Gills.
Oh yeah, CJ Jones, man. I just followed him on Instagram, cjones11_. Man, George will find the talent in Rochester. He will find the talent in Rochester. Beautiful thing to see.
That's right. Always looking for the talent, always looking for the quality people. And next up, Backspin. We like to run the spot with Boogie Basham. Had an opportunity to speak with Boogie Basham earlier this week, talking about the defensive line and his progression with the Buffalo Bills. Is that one ready, Backspin?
Yes, it is.
Great. Let's go with Boogie Basham. And this is brought to you by Marion Rivera Insurance Agency, 1038 Lyle Avenue or 511 Bean Road, 360-0094, and that's area code 585.
Hey, Boogie Basham, how's it going so far in your second training camp?
I would say so far it's been great. A lot of things that I need to work on from last season transferred over to this preseason camp. Just trying to get better every day. Got the defense a little bit better than last year, so not playing as slow as I was last year. So now it's just trying to put everything else together.
How is it with the veteran guys coming in here, like the Tim Settle, and you also have Von Miller, of course? How's those veteran leadership?
I'll say the leadership is great. Vaughn bringing us out to Vegas, just kind of get that bond going with each other. Then And then also, kind of like me, AJ and Greg teaching those guys the defense. So it's kind of like we all just refreshing on each other, also while helping them guys too.
Are you able to learn new techniques of some of the techniques that they use at the Von Millers and these guys?
Oh yeah, so definitely, pretty much everybody uses a lot of the same things. It's just of how they do it. When to use it, when's the right time to use it. Kind of like not doing it in the first quarter, but just keep building it, and when you need that big play at the end, that's kind of when you bring it out because you've been setting up for the whole time.
Right. Are you more comfortable inside, or because you actually an edge rusher as well as a defensive
I say
tackle?
me honestly, it don't really matter. I like rushing anywhere. So wherever they need me at, I'll go in there and do it.
Yeah, because now you seem to focus on the run, stopping the run this year.
Yeah,
That
definitely.
seemed to be one of the key focal points.
Definitely stopping the run, but also just being versatile in all those situations, especially inside and outside. Last year I was inside a lot on pass down, and now it's a time of just getting good at that rundown defense inside.
How do you flush that game, the Kansas City game, being the last game
Yeah.
of the season, to walk off the field the way you guys had to leave?
Kind of just use as a motivation for next season. It hurt. It definitely hurt. First year getting to that point, losing how we did.
It looked like you had it. It looked like the win was in your grasp. 13 seconds.
You just feel to the fire. You can't just dwell on it so long. You got to just keep that in the back of you, and then also just use that to your advantage while you're working on the off season. Just have that grudge on your shoulder all the way through the season.
Absolutely. One last question: what's your goals for this season?
My goal will definitely be, just better myself from last year. Definitely, try and do as much as I can to help the team win. Reps are probably going to increase a little bit this year with the other guys gone. So just kind of whatever the reps I get, make the most out of it.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
And there you have it. Boogie Basham. Jay Gills, any comments on that interview?
Oh man, I think Boogie Basham is ready to go. It sounds like he's been getting a lot of great advice from these pass rushers, Von Miller, working with his D lineman, Ed Oliver, and them like that. So and then you got Greg Rousseau to the mix. So I think that this pass rush is going to be extremely elevated this season, and they're extremely motivated this season because I've seen you plugged in the 15 seconds, right, man? You had to do it, had to fuel that motivation,
Oh, I'm hitting all the guys that were on the team last year. I'm hitting them with that for sure.
Yeah.
You just can't lose like that. That's totally unacceptable. But the key thing too that I took away from the comment from the interview with Boogie Basham is that Von Miller. Von Miller is, man, I didn't realize just what a star. These guys, even on the sideline, while they're on the sideline during practice, guys are coming. He's talking to guys. He has 2 or 3 guys around him, and he's telling these guys what's going on, what's to expect, what kind of plays. It's very interesting to see just what kind of aura Von Miller has on this team, offense and defense. People are in awe of him and see that he's a really he's a true superstar for these guys.
And it couldn't be a better fit from top down with Leslie and now adding Von. The leadership and the veteran, it's just building to be a scary defense this season. As long as that secondary can stay healthy.
Yeah, and he mentioned they went to Vegas. He went to Vegas for a conference with Von Miller and all the other great pass rushers in the NFL. So they were all together in Vegas with other pass rushers, and they got a chance. And these guys, Boogie Basham, AJ Espinoza, these guys all went, and he invited them out, and they got to hear and be around the best pass rushers in the National Football League out there in Vegas.
Wow!
So that's just amazing and unbelievable. Von Miller is really trying to put this team together and keep and really build them up. That's a key thing that we're seeing already in training camp. And you'll see when you come out there today, Von Miller talking to the other guys on the defensive line, and these guys are paying attention. The Ed Olivers, all these guys are listening to what he has to say. Mm-hmm. And next up, we're going to have the interview with Dion Dawkins, our backspin. We're going to roll with Dion Dawkins. Dion Dawkins is talking about blocking Von Miller and his presence on the team.
Point where everybody can understand, right? He's like he's more like elastic, like elastic. So almost like a rubber band, where like you would think if you pull it a certain distance, it'll pop, but he just doesn't pop. Like he'll come off and just be like this, and then come back. Like, how did you just do that? Like, I got my hands on you, you just moved your arm around me. Now I'm in front of you and you're back here, and now I'm playing catch up. Like, so the word that I would use is an elastic band or like a rubber band, because like he's just real springy and like real like slithery. Like it's so hard to really like put a name to it because it's just different. Like there's certain guys, or like an example, right? Like we're all like big and strong. So like if I were to hit somebody, it'll be like a boom. Like and when you hit Vaughn, it's more of like a boom. Like where like where it's not like a, it's just like a
glancing blow.
Yeah, like but it's just like how did that not hit like how it's supposed to hit? Like it's almost like punching the punching bag. Like you hit the punching bag, but the punching bag is moving a little bit, so it's taking away 75% of your punch. So it's just like, you know, but hey, if I could block Vaughn, I could block anybody. Shoot, you know, but he's really that good. He really is, and I don't mean to beat his horn, but he really is, and I can only give props and give him his respect and what he's earned, because he's earned that. And I've never played anybody like that. And you know, Jerry, like I thought Jerry was like damn, like Jerry's grown, old, and still good, but Vaughn is like Jerry times 4, and Jerry is like.
There you go. He's like Jerry Hughes times 4. You hear that? Jay Gills, what's your comment on that section? On that comment?
Oh my God. Yo, that's I mean, to call him elastic man at 33 years old, Von Miller, you know, and Dawkins, he's 28 years old. So the age difference, but my God, that just shows you that he still got it. But Jerry Hughes times 4, that was funny.
I thought so too. I said, wow, if he 4 times,
I thought Jerry did it.
You had to see his eyes too, his facial expression. His eyes was just man. He was like, he said, I thought I was blocking this guy. Next thing you know, the guy was around me.
Oh my God.
Elastic too, because you could tell because he was getting in kind of, and it looked like he was just walking it. He didn't even, you know, he wasn't even playing full speed. Von Miller, he was able to open Deion Dawkins' eyes and say, "Hey," and Deion went on to say that, "Oh, I guess this is what 120 million looks like." Okay, yeah, this guy. He's the real deal. He's the real deal. Things coming along. And I know you also follow the Dolphins, and we have a lot of Miami Dolphin fans here in Rochester on our listening audience as well. What do you see taking place right now with Dolphin camp?
So for the Dolphin camp, you know, we 3 days in right now. We started a little later, but I will say just a couple of quick roster moves. Raheem Mostert is back at practice after that knee injury last year, adding more speed, more electrifying speed on that offense. Teron Armstead also limited on practice, but he's on the field getting reps in. As he's going to be the leader of this offensive line for the Miami Dolphins. And another quick roster move that was interesting is the Dolphins did add Mohamed Sanu, the former San Francisco receiver, and he also had 1 year with Mr. McDaniel in Atlanta. So the Dolphins are looking to get more experience, and I think that's more of an experience move, trying to get Sanu, because right now with Cedric Wilson, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle, the depth is there. But I think that they're trying to just get some veteran guys to help them get that group together with receivers coach Wes Welker and have them learn this system. We'll see if Manu makes the team. But as you were stating with the Bills earlier with these young guys, the Dolphins, they've been doing just the same, trying to get their young guys back in action, back in the fold, starting with that offensive line with Austin Jackson, the former 18th overall pick back in 2020, and Liam Eichenberg, the second-round pick. Those guys have gotten those 2 starting spots on the offensive line. The line is still a bit of a shuffle right now, but they're looking good. We haven't heard their names, so that means they're looking pretty good. They're not making too many mistakes. And when it comes to the defense, look out for Javon Holland. I know you knew about him last year, kid from Oregon, safety from Oregon, but this year he's more athletic. He's going to be a monster this year. I mean, he's jumping over Jalen Waddle, jumping over Tyreek Hill in camp. So it's going to be a problem back there. Xavier got a chip on his shoulder with his Madden rating. You know, they disrespected him, only gave him about an 80. So the defense is going to be in the fold. And another young cat, Jaleen Phillips out of Miami, Greg Rousseau's old teammate from the Bills back in at their time at the U. He's looking to have a breakout season as well. And just as far as team stuff, I'm starting to see Tua have a lot more confidence going from his coaches, his players. You know, the environment that he had grown into the last couple of seasons under Brian Flores is totally different from this one. He's going to be getting a lot of the play. Well, all of the plays are going to be called from Mike McDaniel straight to Tua. So that right there is going to build the confidence and relationships. And we all heard what Tyreek Hill been saying all offseason. He's the most accurate quarterback in the league. So he's got a lot to live up to, but he's got the most confidence he's had since entering the NFL.
I don't know about in the league, but I definitely know he's very accurate. That's one of his strong
Dropping
suits is
dimes.
putting the ball where it needs to be. That man, Tua, has always done that. My only concern with Tua is just the injuries. If you hit him, if you're able to hit him and put a helmet on him, he seems to go down with injuries very easily. That was my only concern with Tua. I thought other than that, Tua, you give him quality receivers. The man played at Alabama. He played at one of the top colleges in the country, which is a machine. They always bring in the best players. Nick Saban ain't messing around with you if you're not the best. So
Right.
Tua is one of those guys. You put a good offensive line around him, and now I see they building up the running game. Hey, I can't wait to September 25th. I believe we'll be in Miami for the Buffalo at Miami game. I hate when they play so early in the season. I like it
Right.
when you used to be,
Go to Miami
November.
in like December or something, right?
I know.
Yeah.
I wish they'd get back to that. I love going down there in
Right.
December, and it's a little bit cooler too, but it's still warm. It's still warm. It's still
Oh,
a good
yeah.
time down
To your
there.
credit, Rad, man, yes, Tua hasn't played a complete season, in his first 2 years, so we're gonna have to see. And just a spoiler alert, it's a lot of people calling for Tua's head right now as far as Dolphins fans rather. It's a lot of pressure on Tua because you got guys like Lamar Jackson who hasn't signed a contract, who's from Miami. You got guys like Tom Brady, who was rumored to be a player, part owner in the midst of the Stephen Ross scandal. So it's a lot of big-time MVP quarterbacks looking to go to that ready-made roster in Miami. So Tua's going to have one of the biggest years in his young career.
He certainly has. He certainly has too. I think he will have a very good season because they now doing like Buffalo has done for Josh Allen, putting the talent around him and giving him some talent so that he can make things happen. We had Joel Jackson on the YouTube says that Ken, oh no, we can't let Diggs go. No, you got. Hey, this is the NFL. This is 2022. You got to let guys go eventually. I mean, he's 32 years old. He's done great for Buffalo.
Davis is going to be a beast. I mean, he's only in his third year. Let the man eat. 6'2", 290. Now, he ain't no 290, but I mean, he's about 210. He's a beast. Like you said, he's a physical receiver. That's who I want on the outside. That's the type of guy.
Yeah, and you got good slot receivers with Jamison Crowder in there. You got Jake Kumerow who can play the outside. Khalil Shakir is the key guy. Let's see how he does. How Khalil, because he looks good. He looks like a guy that runs excellent. He runs excellent routes. I can see that already, and he has good hands. So I can see why they picked him up from Boise State. He's the type of guy that can make the team and make some play. I think he will make the team because they've been talking about him as well. And you got guys that can make some plays. So and Marquez Stevenson, he still looks kind of skinny there. His legs look like toothpicks out there. That Marquez Stevenson, man, he got to get a little bigger, man. He looks like a high school guy out there with grown men. That's what he. It looked like. As soon as I saw him, I said, "Who's this guy?" And I looked. Oh, this is Marcus Stevenson. Yeah. He's tiny, man.
But he's still running that 4.3.
He does. He just got to stay free and not take a hit. Well, we see now with the pads coming on today, will be some hitting going on out there. And Jay Gills, I want to thank you for coming on the show this morning. Appreciate you. And I'll see you out there at training camp. And we're going to each week talk about. We'll have more Bills action and we'll have more Buffalo stuff going on coming up. Letting you know what's going on with the Buffalo Bills. You want the real deal on the Buffalo Bills? Check us out right here on the Beat 105.5. Jay Gills, have a great day. And I'll catch you later. Backspin. How's it going, Backspin?
I'm good. How are you?
Loving it. What's up with your guy, Jerry Jones, insulting people, man? He called the man a midget or something, man?
Hey, man. Jerry
what's up with Jerry?
He old, man. He's set in his ways, and he doesn't know the politically correct terms anymore. It's little people now.
You're right. It's little people. Don't call them bitches.
Yeah. So, I mean, Jerry got so much money. This is just a PR stunt.
Right. You're right. That's your guy, Jerry, man. He's something else, man. Put a microphone in front of him. You don't know what
what's gonna come out that man's mouth. That's why they keep doing it. That's why the media keeps shoving microphone. He is the only owner I know who gets just as much media coverage when the Cowboys win or lose as the players do. Name another owner who gets all of that media coverage after the game is over.
No, nobody. You don't even know who the heck. If you don't follow football and just a casual sports fan, you don't even know who the Dallas Cowboys head coach is because he's on way more than the head coach.
Exactly.
And And why are they talking about firing the head coach and that season hasn't even started yet? That's man.
I mean, I'm all for that. Honestly,
Oh, really?
I'm all for McCarthy getting up out of there, man. That's I'm all for it. We'll see though. I just don't. His coaching, I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me. I don't think he manages the clock very well, and key situations. I think he drops the ball. And for him to be a Super Bowl quarterback, or I'm sorry, a Super Bowl coach, I don't. At this stage in his career, this stuff shouldn't be happening. But
No, it shouldn't be. And it looked like Dan Quinn is sitting right there waiting to take over.
Right.
If he slips up, that's a tough situation to be in as a head coach. You can't slip up, and next thing you know, you might be out of there, and your defensive coordinator is taking over. So good luck this season. Hopefully Ezekiel Elliott looked good so far in a couple of days, but of course they're not wearing pads, of course. So everybody kind of looks good right now. So.
Everybody got a plan till they get hit.
Exactly. Then you'll see the real deal right there. That's happening. So, hey, good luck with the show coming up next. I know you had some great events during the week. I keep hearing about Bax. Oh, that Baxman, he did my party the other night, my friend's party and graduation, Sweet 16, all this. Man, you're doing great in the community, Baxman.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. I just love, giving back to the community and, representing for Rochester as a whole. Our city has been catching a lot of hell as of late. And I just want to, be a positive light and amongst all of that. So,
and you certainly are. Keep uplifting our community. And I can't wait till that 10 to 12 is my favorite time of your show, from 10 to noon, where you really let it loose with the old school and the whole 9 yards. Matter of fact, I need to talk. They got DJs from Buffalo out there playing at the practice every day, man. They need to have. I mentioned them by having you as a guest come out there for one of these morning practices and do some spinning.
That would be super dope. I definitely will be with that. As long as I got the day free, let's make it happen.
There you go. Thank you. Hey, take care. Be a good sport, everybody. We'll catch you next week on the Real Deal Sports Show. Take care.
Yes, indeed. That was Real Deal Sports with the Rad Man. Your man Backspin will be right back with the Back in Time Mix Show coming up at 9 a.m. Y'all stay locked in to the Beat 105.5.